Welcome to the World Away.
Travel tales to inspire your wanderlust.
Hi there, welcome back to The World Awaits. I'm Belle Jackson, and joining me in the co-host seat this week is Alaisdair Leith, who is also our sound producer. Say hello, Alaisdair.
Hey, Belle, great to be back on the pod. How have you been?
Oh, I've done nothing. I've grown a cocoon, and I've just circled myself into a little cocoon and writing, and that's it. Literally have barely stepped out of. I've been in tracksuits for weeks now, so it's not pretty. And that's why we've not got any video going on here. What about you? You've just been up to Sydney, haven't you? Because that seems like a big deal for me at the moment.
I know, I have. It was, yeah, first time traveling in a while, which was nice to be on a plane again, and to be somewhere where it was 23 degrees and the sun was out was a nice experience, a good little getaway for the Sydney Film Festival. And yeah, so much happening.
Yeah, but the coffee is cheaper, right?
Oh, and the coffee is terrible, right?
Is it? Spoken like a true Melburnian.
It's so bad.
That is fascinating, right? I think but you didn't like get a 7-Eleven, did you, or something like that? No? You went to a
No,
like a
I
fancy?
I went to like a normal looking cafe. The roasters were in Marrickville, so I'm like, this is all looking good.
Hmm.
The price was cheap, $4.50. I was like, what? And then I was like, this is crazy. We're being robbed in Melbourne. Then I had a sip of the coffee, and the $4.50 made sense.
I've got to say, I did see your
Oh,
little reel about it, and I was like, damn it, what are we doing wrong down here in Melbourne? But
oh
we
no,
have
we're
got
not doing anything wrong.
phenomenal
No,
coffee.
no.
So interesting you were there for the Sydney Film Festival, because if you didn't know,
Yes.
Alistair is also a film reviewer. If we can't find you, chances are it's because you're in the cinema with your phone turned off and a giant bucket of popcorn. Actually, do you eat popcorn in movies?
Look, not as much as everyone assumes.
Hmm.
I think when we go to critic screenings, we are very lucky. We usually get drink and a popcorn, but it's usually not a giant one. It's usually like the small or medium.
Well, I hear some directors saying that it's actually disrespectful to eat through their performance, which I can kind of, oh yeah, I've got a certain amount of sympathy for, because I mean, how can you hear all of the dialogue if you're chomping? But
Well,
but
in
but
it's quite loud. Like it's not like a live performance where you're sitting up the back and you might be, just hearing the dialogue. I think the sound is loud enough to get over any chomping. And look, this could be a whole podcast in itself. The things that I've seen people eat in a screening in the last 5 years, wild, wild.
Oh my God, no, I can't do it. If you haven't realized by now, we are talking movies and film destinations this episode, because one of the hottest trends in travel at the moment is, of course, set setting. That's where you decide where you're going to travel based on something you saw in a movie.
Yeah, definitely. Set jetting is massive. Think New Zealand and Hobbiton, Game of Thrones for Northern Ireland, Croatia and Malta, and what's now called the White Lotus effect. The fourth season is currently being filmed on the French Riviera and expected to drop mid to late 2027, so buckle up for an overload of Saint Tropez. And the plot revolves around a week at the Cannes Film Festival.
I mean, that's like an absolute dream, isn't it? This is a perfect segue into our tip at the end of the show, actually, which is a roll call of the best film festivals coming up in Australia. So hang around for that one.
But now we're going to kick into our list of movies, some old, some new, that you must watch as prep for your next holiday, either on the plane or beforehand, because some just need that widescreen treatment that a milky 9-inch screen just can't give you.
And look, let's not talk about the sound on airplanes, because I have had numerous issues on my most recent flights, either just getting the sound in mono, or it's just simply not working. On my last flight, I had to plug into, my daughter was sleeping, so I plugged my headphones into her sound, and then I turned the two movies on at the same time and made them run concurrently. It was just ridiculous. So maybe download to your device when you're on the plane, especially if you've got a larger laptop, then you've got all of that gorgeousness.
I would also not rely on the plane's Wi-Fi. So on my flight to Sydney, both there and back, Qantas did advertise that in-flight Wi-Fi was free with my flight, which I'm like, great, I won't download anything. And both times the internet speed was so ridiculously slow, I couldn't actually watch anything. So do
Now,
not
I don't know that
rely
everyone's
on the Wi-Fi. Definitely
has
download to
anyone
your
ever
device.
has anyone ever relied on the Wi-Fi? I actually find Virgin Australia's app to be very to be very reliable. Like I've watched masses of stuff on my phone, which is not great for the eyes. But yeah, I don't know, Qantas and anything free, I am deeply skeptical about. So I'm going to move us. We're going to go to the Arctic Circle first because there's some great stuff out here. Alastair, hit me with your first. If I'm going anywhere in the Arctic, and by this we're meaning like Scandinavia, we're talking Alaska, hyper North America, that kind of thing, polar, gorgeous, snowy. What should I be watching?
Look, if you want to keep things light on the flight, I would recommend a Netflix show called North of North. Now, it's the first Sami sitcom. And it is about a young Inuk mother who basically wants to reinvent herself in this tiny Arctic community. Everyone knows everyone, everyone knows everyone's business. It is very, very funny. There are fantastic performances. It's the first TV series that's actually set and filmed in Nunavut, and it's the biggest and most northern territory of Canada. It looks freezing. It's got incredible music from the likes of Doja Cat and Alanis Morissette. And there's also some Inuk covers of popular songs, Dua Lipa's Levitating and Fleetwood Mac's Dreams. It's also incredibly relatable in a really strange way. And it's also very, very funny and very entertaining. There is 6 episodes. They are quite short, so you can easily binge this whole thing on the plane. And there is definitely a season 2 coming as well.
I am so excited that there's a second series coming for that one because North of North is absolutely fantastic. I totally loved it. I just randomly found it on Netflix. So that's an absolute banger of a recommendation. What's your next one, Alistair?
Now I'm going to add another Sami here. There is a movie called Let the River Flow. It did play in the amazing Scandinavian film festival that we get in Melbourne in 2024, I believe. So it is a couple of years old, but it's still a film that I still think about regularly and I do try and watch. It is a complete different type of thing to watch on a plane. Talks about the true story of a Sami tribe and their fight with the Norwegian government over building the Alta Dam and what it would do to their land and their future as a culture. Instead of focusing on lawyers and adults and elders, it actually focuses on a young girl, Esther, and her coming of age, discovering her Sami heritage with one side of her family that wants her to forget it. It's just a really bold and gorgeous film. It's not afraid to, portray the events accurately while really, really focusing on, this young girl's journey and acceptance of her, traditional culture and heritage. It is set, so the real life events happened from 1979 to 1981. It's also absolutely gorgeous to look at. It was filmed, on location. So think Norway, river, snow, ice. It's just a spectacular film and it is very heavy. So there can be times where you're like, oh, this is a lot, but it's also a very, very important story that I think, yeah, definitely is worth watching.
Just say snow tracks to me, and I'm totally there. I'm in it. I'm going to drop a another one in there from this region, which I spoke to the filmmaker just a couple of episodes ago. That's Deanne Whelan. So if you want to jump back to it, her movie is called 500 Days in the Wild, and it's about her trip on the Trans-Canada Trails. 6 years, 6 years. Thought she'd knock it off in 500 days. Took her 6 years. When she gets up into the high Arctic, and there are bears, and there are like literally months of paddling canoes and stuff, and just camping on the sides of rivers. It's phenomenal. It is so beautiful. She's an incredible filmmaker. And sometimes you just sit there, there's not a lot of talking at points, and you're just looking at this incredible scenery and the animals. And there's these migrating birds, just waves of them rushing across the screen. It just opens your heart up, and it's still actually playing around Australia a little bit. So 500 Days in the Wild, I'd jump in for that one.
And look, we did talk about this a little bit last week, but that is one of my favorite interviews. I could have, listened to her all day.
Mm.
Just, yeah, really, really fantastic story. And I really want to see the movie now.
Oh, you should go see it. She's actually very funny. There were parts of it where I was actually snorting with laughter, and I was trying not to eat popcorn, but someone gave me a big bucket of popcorn, so I was eating it. And then you've got that thing where you just like almost spit the popcorn out because she's a very, very funny woman in a situation that would otherwise be really challenging. But as she said, I chose this. She's amazing. What else have you got for me from the high
Love
Arctic?
it. And look, if you are looking for more, the Scandinavian Film Festival is coming back to Melbourne next month at the end of July, and I'm sure there'll be plenty there to check out, both old and new, to get you excited for your next journey.
Look, I'm going to slip one more in. I know we spent a lot of time talking about the Arctic, but I still reckon that The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, to my mind, remains one of the best landscape cinematography movies that's come out of Hollywood. It's Ben Stiller. He's not my favorite guy, but I do love him. His character is chasing a photographer played by Sean Penn around Yemen, Greenland, in the Himalayas, but most of it's shot in Iceland, and it is just like it is spectacular. He's got mountains. There are Icelandic mountains. I can't say any of the names. I'm really sorry about that. But they stood in for like Afghani mountain landscapes and stuff. There's glaciers, there's gorgeous fishing villages, and there's this scene where he longboards down the side of a volcano, of an erupting mountain into the town, and it is just spectacular. So, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I'm going to steer you into Australia, Alastair,
Mm.
because I don't know. I feel like I've watched them all, and there's nothing that I know new. But you've got a couple of new ones there that you'd like to mention, and an old banger as well.
Yes. Well, look, this one is relatively new. It's 2024. I don't think a lot of people have seen it, which I think is a terrible shame. It's from renowned Australian filmmaker Warwick Thornton. So this was in the Cannes Film Festival in 2024. He did the 2009 movie Samson and Delilah. This movie, however, is called The New Boy, and it does actually star an Aussie favorite, Kate Blanchett. It also stars Deborah Mowman and Wayne Blair, who work in a convent in the outback, which is, the imagery in itself is completely wild. It is set in the 1940s in the outback and follows a 9-year-old nameless Aboriginal orphan who's caught by the police and literally dragged in a sack to a remote monastery in rural South Australia. It addresses things like police brutality and really goes into religion and colonialism. It is quite heavy. However, Deborah Mowman does keep things light, and it's a really, really important film with a very, very important message. So look, it is a little bit quite heavy for a plane ride. However, if you do wish to recover from that, we of course have the classic Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. I feel like how much can you say that hasn't been said?
Oh, I don't know. Look, I was in Alice Springs not that long ago, and at Kings Canyon, which are two of the filming locations for it.
Yes.
And at one point, we were trailing a tour group, a group of travelers on a guided tour, and it was a LGBTQ group, so they did pull out pink flamingo, blow up flamingos, and were roaring through a waterhole with
Oh,
that.
I
And I
love
just know,
this.
and everybody just got dressed up and then leapt around having their moments, because there is a point at Kings Canyon where everybody stops and says this is where the cock in a frock on a rock was shot. Oh my God, try saying that was a mouthful of chats, my friends.
You
Um,
did well.
so they're two of the great locations, and it does give that really big outback space, which I think I haven't seen
Yeah.
the new boy, but Kate Blanchett in a nun's habit, I'm like, sign me up for that one. And that was actually shot not that far south in the north of South Australia. So, but we're going to go coastal on the next one of your choice, I think, for Australia, aren't we?
We are, and this one is quite personal. I think, you can't think about Australia without thinking about Kath and Kim. And one of their episodes, season four, episode one, is literally called The Holiday. And they travel from Melbourne to Noosa for a holiday at the now debunked Hyatt Coolum. I believe it's now Clive Palmer's resort. So you can still visit it. However, I believe it is very different to what it was in the episode. And look, it has all of the typical Australian things, you know, trying to cram extra people into the room that you
Yay.
haven't paid for, sneaking into the breakfast buffet when all you've paid for is continental. There's just so much, so much fun to be had lying out in the sun, falling asleep, and forgetting to put on sunscreen, and buying your friends gifts from the gift shop, like pet rocks with eyes on them. It has everything that you want. It's very,
Oh
very
my
funny.
gosh. So good. So, but you didn't say it correctly. It's Noosa.
Oh,
It's not.
Nursa. Yeah.
Stop saying Noosa, Noosa, Noosa. Oh my God. I was in South Africa recently. I was having dinner with some friends of friends, and I slipped up and they said, "Would you like the Sauvignon Blanc or the Chardonnay?" And I said, "Give me the Chardonnay." My God, they nearly weed themselves. They were from Cape Town
And
and
they
they
knew
knew
what
the
you were talking
reference.
about.
They were like, "Oh my God, it's like Kath and Kim sitting at our table."
Amazing.
So, Kath
So
and Kim do
good.
have reach far beyond what we would expect them to be.
That's wild. Yeah.
So we are going to go to the UK now. There are so many great British movies, like
Oh,
literally. Oh, I mean, oh my God, there's so much of them from the Bond movies like Skyfall. But you've got a new one, haven't you? Well, you've got
yeah,
two. Go and tell us your two favorites.
well, I went with two movies. So the first is a rare film that is 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, a very rare thing indeed. It stars Hugh Grant, Ben Whishaw, and a whole host of UK actors that you will love. It is, of course, Paddington 2. Yes, there is a one, and yes, there is a three. They are good, but this is just one of the best films of all time. It goes to so many iconic locations, particularly in London. And regardless of your age, you will get laughs and enjoyment out of this. It also has a really, really sweet message as well. So
I love it, love it.
that
I
is
just think it's so beautiful. Yeah.
That is the first one. If you're looking for another movie, I would highly, highly recommend The Sheep Detectives. Now, it has a really strange name. It is also based on a book. The Sheep Detectives, it is actually 2026's biggest box office holder, which means that each week it only has dropped slightly. Some weeks it has gained viewership at the global box office, because at first glance it does look like Babe in England. However, there is quite a bit of meat to the story, no pun intended. Uh, it does star Hugh Jackman as a farmer. He is killed, and due to inaction of the local uh, police force, the sheep decide to take on the role of solving his murder. Sounds
Mm.
crazy. It's incredibly sweet. It's incredibly dark, and does deal with a lot of themes that are very uncomfortable at times. But it's a very,
Really?
very, very sweet movie, and it does give you that little feeling of, the English countryside, that you're potentially traveling to on your plane.
I still haven't seen The Sheep Detective, so I am going to put it on the list because I did think, I mean, you'd said to me it was basically Paddington with sheep. And I was like, I actually, well, two
Yes.
things. I did not realize that Paddington 2 got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. That is
Yeah.
incredible. And if you did want to go and visit a jail where it's set, because of course, that is, I think that the closing credits on that of Hugh Grant and his musical number
Yes.
are so good. You could go to Somerset. So a lot of it's filmed in a prison, the Her Majesty's prison, or is it His Majesty's prison, Shepton Mallet in Somerset. And it's also at Kilmainham Jail in Dublin, which is actually a really beautiful jail. As far as jails go, you could jump in there. So I think that we're going to go a little lighter, and that is we're going to go to Italy. Italy, let's go to Italy because um who doesn't love skipping off to an Italian vibe? So to get in the mood of it,
Yes.
what would you be watching?
Look, I'm going to tell you about it's a new movie. It came out this year. So it's called You, Me, and Tuscany. It is a rom-com. So the main character impulsively jets off to Tuscany to stay at a stranger's villa she has a one-night stand with without his permission, knowing that he's not home. She gets caught inside the house by his mother and grandmother and convinces the two that she's his fiance. What results is a hilarious, hilarious string of events as they plan the wedding unbeknownst to the groom. What really stands out for me is this movie focuses a lot on local markets, local produce, in, the not main area of Tuscany. And the family owns a restaurant, so it's all about beautiful Italian cooking, and vineyards, beautiful people, and luxury houses, which I never would have expected from this film. It was shot on location as well. So if you don't want to pack up your bags and head there, we can't be friends.
Okay, all right then. The other one that yeah, because when I think of Italy, I think of old school. I mean, I'm like, Roman Holiday, the Audrey Hepburn, 1953. Where she falls in love with the newspaper man, the American newspaper man, Gregory Peck, which is
Yes.
interesting given their age differences and all of that sort of thing. The landscape star, however, is the Spanish Steps, and she sits there where she sits there eating gelato. So now, of course, the obligatory thing is you go to the Spanish Steps, you've got to eat gelato there. Put your hand in the Bocca della Verita, the mouth of truth. And of course, Hepburn won an Oscar for that because she actually, do you know, she actually got her hair. Part of it when she transforms herself and she wants to hide that she's a princess, she cuts her hair off. She
Mm.
actually cut her hair off on screen. So her reaction to
Wow.
having her hair chopped off was
Is
actually real.
real.
That is
Right.
real. That's a classic. Like that is a classic Italian. You've got a slightly more contemporary one, haven't you, Alastair?
I do is a little different. Now, love it or hate it, Emily in Paris is I'm going to say, phenomenon. The first couple of seasons, we were convinced that it was terrible, but we still watched it anyway because who doesn't love a good hate watch, right? Especially when you
Um,
film on location in Paris. Why would we hate this?
oh yeah, but
However,
hang on. We were stuck in COVID when it came out,
that
so
is
there was
very
that was
true. That's
that
very
is part
true.
of
We
the
were
hate, I think.
starved.
Yeah, yeah.
So look, last season they decided to actually switch up the title and call it Emily in Italy for the season as she temporarily relocated for work. And again, this very much dives into the traditional Italian, families. She was doing PR, I think, for a family that had a fashion label, ring any bells. So very much trying to play off that a rich, wealthy family who owned a clothing brand.
Who are
If
also
you
very hot. Can I just mention
Oh,
everyone's hot as well, right?
everyone's
Yeah.
ridiculously attractive, which, it does help in the hate watch as well, I think, so you don't
Yeah.
turn it off. But look, there's the typical scenes in the Trevi Fountain. And look, please, if you've seen that TikTok video of that idiot tourist who went swimming in the fountain this week and was arrested, please don't do that. Please don't do that.
Look, I'm going to add in there another one that we've both agreed on, which is Eat, Pray, Love. And this one is great because it is multi-country.
Mm.
This of course is another phenomenon as well, which is Italy, Indonesia, and India, of course. Like it's a three-eye destination basically. And by Indonesia, of course, we mean Bali. So I think Australians kind of resonated with that in those three destinations as well. Interestingly, that year that it came out, I had been in those three countries
Oh,
as well, and
wow.
I did write a story about how my life did did not mirror the experiences. Like I didn't meet the hot men in Italy. Um,
It's
in India,
what do you
in India, I got
mean?
I know, right? In India, instead of, I mean, somebody put sandalwood at a temple, put sandalwood on my forehead, just like it happened in the movie. And Indonesia as well. Like there was no Javier Bardem chasing
Yeah.
me around.
Oh,
I did actually get married at the end of that, so I had found love. But she did, Elizabeth Gilbert, the who wrote the book that
mm.
Julia Roberts then starred in, did phenomenal things, particularly for barley, selling barley to
Yeah.
Americans.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
definitely.
in fact, the Four Seasons got hold of the guy. The Four Seasons got hold of the guy, the guru who she talked about in her book, and had contracted for him to give life advice to the
Oh
stream of
no.
subsequent, um, particularly women from the US, because the
Yeah.
US hadn't been traveling to Indonesia because they were scared about it because it was it's a predominantly Muslim country. They didn't realize that, Bali was this little island of Hinduism in the middle of it. So I'm going to pop Eat, Pray, Love in there because it is beautiful. I mean,
It
Julia
is.
Roberts riding through the Balinese countryside and stuff like that. Gorgeous, gorgeous.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can't hate it.
And that and look, that leads us into Asia as well, because we have agreed on two movies here, and one of them is Crazy Rich Asians because
Yes.
my British Malaysian husband is in that one, and that is Henry Golding. Oh my
Oh,
God, I love him so much. Crazy Rich Asians, it is so good. Read the book if you're not into movies. Read the book, then go and watch the movie. It's shot in places like Marina Bay Sands,
mm,
and the Raffles Hotel and Gardens by the Bay. But it's also then it gets a bit grittier because there's that scene where they go to the food center. That's the
oh my
Newtown
gosh,
Food Center. So
incredible.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, the hawker foods there is as good as what they portray it. And then when they went to Malaysia, of course they went to Langkawi in the Four Seasons that was there, but they also went to Chong Fat Tu Mansion in Penang, which is also known as the Blue Mansion. And it is a gorgeous, gorgeous place. You've got to go there, even if you're not staying there, you just go there for the photographs. It is one of the most beautiful places, one of the most beautiful mansions in Penang and slash hotel. So I would put Crazy Rich Asians on the list, definitely. And the other one I'm going to mention is Shogun, and this is a mini series. I think it's on Disney Plus at the moment, and it is set in the 1600s. This is the whole Japan thing. If you want to, um, if you want to set it, find Japan in that particular period. Um, I would watch Shogun, but I would keep in mind that a lot of it was actually filmed in British Columbia in Canada. So it stood in for 17th century feudal Japan, but it does have another, my Japanese silver fox in there, Hiroki Sanada, who has been in Tom Cruise as well. So there's my Japan one. We're going to go to North Africa and the Middle East for this one. Alastair, I'm going to take the lead on this because I don't know if you realize what a powerhouse Tunisia is. I don't know if anyone's flying to Tunisia, but if you need a desert hit, there are three movies that are three phenomenal movies shot there. I mean, there's of course plenty more, and that is Star Wars, and you can still go and visit the Star Wars site. Like it's crazy. The film sets were left in the desert as an
Wow.
agreement between George Lucas and the government. Life of Brian was also shot there too, the Monty Python one, about the Jews versus the Romans and all of that sort of thing, because they have incredible Roman ruins there. But also the biggie is the English Patient. That is, of course, total. Speaking of more fabulous looking people, Ralph Fiennes and Kristen Scott Thomas, who I believe she recently had a baby when she pitched for that one. And she just had to get her head in the game as this beautiful, wealthy socialite who ends up, actually, should I tell you how everyone knows that she ends up dying in a cave in the middle of nowhere? But we're talking shimmering salt lakes. Sorry about that, everyone. Shimmering salt lakes, the Sahara. It's just incredible. So, parts of it were supposed to be set in 1940s Cairo, and that was actually filmed in Tunis, in the capital itself, which I think is just incredible. So if you're not going to go, if you hadn't planned to go to Tunisia, then I would probably watch these movies and then you'll be booking a ticket. But then also Malta, because Malta is so hot right now for tourists. I think Australians collectively discovered Malta a couple of years ago. Brits have been going there for years, of course, and they colonized it, did loads of stuff there. But lots of Roman ruins as well, which means Gladiator 2 was shot there. Assassin's Creed is another early one. I mean, it goes way back, like some of the old Conan the Barbarians and stuff like that. And the Da Vinci Code was also had a large chunk of it shot there, which I thought was really interesting. And also the Count of Monte Cristo, which was supposed to be set, the Dumas book was set off the coast of Marseille, is actually shot in Malta. So it's not shot in France at all. It's shot down in Malta. So they are my suggestions for the Middle East. Is there any others that we missed, Alaisdair? Because we've been pretty thorough, I think.
Yeah, I think you pretty much covered everything for the Middle East that you could, potentially watch on your next trip.
And we're going to put those notes in the show notes so that you can play along as well. And if you've got any of your own, drop us a line as well. Or just leave something on our Instagram too.
If you'd like to help support our production costs, you can buy us a coffee at coffee.com/The World Awaits. That's ko-fi.com/The World Awaits, so we can continue to bring you inspirational travel interviews with the world's best.
It's cooling down in the Southern Hemisphere and we are bunkering down. So our tip this week is where to get your movie fix at film festivals around Australia in the next couple of months.
Yeah, and there are a lot. One of Sydney's most magical winter experiences in July is the Fire Pit Cinema, and that brings the Christmas in July festival in the Rocks. So it runs from Friday the 10th to Sunday the 19th of July. You can sit on deck chairs under the stars, wrap up in a cozy blanket, roast marshmallows over the open fire pits, and enjoy a hot chocolate or a mulled wine while watching some classic movies on the screen. Now, they do have Christmas-themed films. This does include Love Actually, The Holiday, Last Christmas, Elf, and Home Alone. During the final weekend, the cinema program will also feature a selection of French films as the Christmas in July morphs into the Bastille Festival.
Oh, look, I don't understand why Home Alone is in there, I've got to say. And I haven't really.
What? It's
Oh,
a Christmas movie, Belle.
Is it? Is it
Yes,
really?
it is.
I know, but he's just so painful. I can't go past him. Like,
It's set at
seriously.
Christmas. Like, what? How
Oh,
much more Christmas could you get?
I know, but so's Die Hard, and everybody
No,
argues that
Die
Die
Hard
Hard
is
isn't a
not a
Christmas movie.
Christmas film. No,
Oh,
you don't want
God.
to start this. It's not a Christmas
Uh,
film.
I don't believe that I've got the chops to actually start this one. I haven't seen Last Christmas though. I mean, I've seen the shorts
It's
for it.
got your husband in it.
It's got Henry Golding in it, my crush from Crazy Rich Asians. Um, so yeah, so you can go jump onto that one in Sydney at the Fire Pit Cinema. Otherwise, if you have got your skates on and you're listening to us this week, the South African Film Festival is actually on this. It starts this weekend and it leads into Mandela Months, which is a program of festivals and internationally celebrated South African films. And that is running from the 21st of June until the 26th. I love this, the fact that it's completely volunteer run and it's not for profit. The proceeds for it go to funding Education Without Borders and youth education and mentor programs in South Africa. So you can also stream it online as well while it's running. If you jump onto their website, saf.org.au, and I think there's just some really great, interesting headline. Like the headliner is a movie called Don't Let's Go to the Dogs Tonight, which is set in the independence war in 1980 in Zimbabwe. And also, I think this is fascinating, Pangolin, The Journey to Freedom, which is a wildlife documentary about a little pangolin named Kosha. Kosha, which is, did you know pangolins are the world's most trafficked animal, Alaisdair? They are.
Yes,
We know that. Let's go and support them.
that sounds great. And looking further ahead, the Adelaide Film Festival is October, so that's the 14th till the 25th. And my personal local favourite is the Melbourne International Film Festival. It starts August 6th and runs right through till the 23rd and features over 275 films. It is also, in the dead of winter, so it's the perfect time to be out in Melbourne CBD.
So we'll put a link to those great film festivals in the show notes. Next week, we are going into our winter series, bringing you some of our best interviews over the past year. So stay tuned for those. And Alaisdair, you can do the sign out for this week. Go for it.
And we love it if you followed us on socials. You'll find us at The World Awaits podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And feel free to drop us a line at hello@theworldawaits.au. And if you're enjoying this episode, please give us a rating or review.
That's a wrap for The World Awaits this week. Click to subscribe anywhere you listen to your favourite pods.
Thanks for listening. See you next week.